Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you on this Tuesday afternoon. Lee Aldwin Seabury with us as well as he continues to get trained up and will be right here in front of the mic sooner rather than later, picking things up really, really fast. So we're excited about that. We're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 2.5 hours as Ole Miss baseball, their final midweek game of the regular season, later tonight, 6 o'clock first pitch against Southern Miss. We'll have pregame starting at 5:30, so we'll be out a little bit early, but plenty to get to over these next 2.5 hours, and I hope we have enough time to get to all of it. A lot of scheduling news, NBA playoff news, stuff like that, NFL news, a lot to get to. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing well, Bryant, and the scheduling news came as a torrent today, and then off the top rope came some Tiger basketball scheduling news with the announcement, both with the Tigers and Mississippi State, almost simultaneously from their both basketball Twitter sites for men's basketball, that the game that we knew was on the schedule will be played in Memphis on Saturday, December 21st. And, Bryant, we all know how big a day that potentially could be, will be in the college football world, and very well could be concerning the Memphis Tigers.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Jason Munn's quote tweeted that immediately after it was tweeted out. I know Jason probably already knew that was going to be the date and had that info beforehand, so he was ready with this tweet, but tweeted out could be a massive day in the city of Memphis. Obviously, with that, going to be a big game for Penny Hardaway's team, but also what could be with the football team and the college football playoff. So should be a lot of excitement. We'll also, by that time, we'll be at middle Grizzly season, so we'll be talking Grizzlies basketball as well. So it'll be a lot going on in the city of Memphis.
That day, I don't know when the Tigers play. Very, very well could be one of those days where it's real early for the Tigers and maybe a Grizzlies home game that Saturday night, because those Friday, Saturdays leading into the Christmas holidays are greatly attended games for the Grizzlies. A lot of offices, a lot of companies, big group sales. That they have a Christmas get-together. Their office gathering might include going to those Grizzlies games. Those are big dates for them. So it very well could be that. It could be standalone. Tigers Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock or something like that, like against Clemson last year on that same Saturday. Dates were different, but kind of that same Saturday. It could be Saturday night. And it also could very well be with the Memphis Tiger football team either having played that Friday night in that one standalone game or played real early or that afternoon. And for the basketball programs at both places, you can't schedule thinking that far ahead and manipulating it. You might maybe, even now, could go to them and go, let's kick that to Sunday.
Sure.
You know, and last year the Tigers played A&M on a Sunday in December. But you've got to let your basketball schedule, you just got to let it percolate and rip how it goes, and you can't get too far in advance because you don't know that you will or will not be playing football.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. I mean, you don't want to try to get ahead of it and try to, Brett, you always talk about how you're not a superstitious person, but I am very superstitious when it comes to sports, and the last thing I would want to hear is an announcement from the University of Memphis basketball team saying, hey, we're playing this game on Sunday, and then I come to find out, from word of mouth that the reason they put it on Sunday was because they don't want a conflict of a Memphis Tiger football game. That would tell me Tiger football not going to the playoffs because me superstitiously speaking, it would knock him out completely. I mean, you can bet all your money. You could say that. But to me, I would be very pessimistic about the Tigers' chances on the football side. So I'm glad that they didn't have that in mind and just said it. And I know hopefully it'll be a great day, a great couple of days for both football and basketball. And we'll be talking both of them at the same time.
I would just guess that with that Saturday, December 21st for Tigers and Mississippi State in basketball, I would imagine Saturday the 7th or Saturday the 14th will be the Tigers against Ole Miss in basketball.
Yeah.
And that also will be at FedEx Forum.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get that news soon, and it's kind of nice. I mean, Brett, we were talking yesterday. We're getting leaks for the NFL. We're getting a lot of announcements for college football. Fox, and today seems to be ESPN's day.
It's the Titanic.
Sure, absolutely. And so I like that. It's not leaks; it's the Titanic.
It's overwhelming.
It sure is. So we're getting a lot, but then to be able to add in a little bit of college basketball news, a little bit of Tiger basketball news, I know that gets a lot of people excited. And Brett, speaking of that, speaking of scheduling, we got kind of the first week of the big ESPN ABC games this weekend, and one jumped out to me. I'm sure it jumped out to a lot of other people. I'll run through them really quick. It was posted, ESPN College Football posted it. Notable college football Week 1 matchups. Thursday night, August 29th, North Dakota State at Colorado. That game will be on ESPN.
That's Coach Prime in prime time.
Sure is. Saturday triple-header, Clemson versus Georgia in Atlanta. That will be on ABC at 11. Miami at Florida on ABC. That will be the afternoon game. And then Notre Dame, Texas A&M, which will be fun. Quarterback and former coach going against each other. That will be 6:30 on ABC our time. Sunday, USC LSU 6:30 on ABC in Las Vegas, and then Monday night Boston College at Florida State 6:30 at ESPN. What in the world is Coach Prime thinking? Putting North Dakota State on your schedule as game 1. Don't they know that they play upset more often than not? I mean, I guess if you want to test first game, that's a great team to go out and have a test against your guys. But man, I'd be scared if I was a Colorado fan. You look up and see prime time at prime time against NDSU, the prime time FCS school. That's going to be a fun game.
Well, he's already made everybody circle his game.
Yep.
Everybody's going to have their A game getting ready to play him. He's put a big target on his program. He doesn't mind that. This has been his entire existence, and in his entire existence, he's backed it up.
Sure has.
So he's got to do it this year with look like the number one quarterback coming out of the draft next spring by the NFL. His son, Shedeur Sanders. I don't think he's scared of anything.
No, I don't think so, and certainly has kind of lets it known that he's not afraid of anybody. He's not afraid of any team, and he's going to go out there, and he thinks he has a really good team, and he has a lot of faith in his players that he brings in. So it's going to be another year. I know last year everybody was so focused on this team because it was year one, because it was Deion, and obviously what Deion had done a couple years before then at Jackson State. But a lot of eyes going to continue to be on this program, obviously with who he is and what he is as a icon. But then also his son is a great quarterback, and we saw that last year. But now with the draft buzz, there's going to be a lot of talk about them again this year, I think.
It will be, and that'll be on Thursday night, August 29th. Game day will originate from the game you mentioned, Notre Dame going to College Station down in Aggie Land. Game day, of course, in the morning. That game will be 6:30 on Saturday night. The week before, for week 0, it will originate from Dublin, Ireland.
That's right.
At Georgia Tech, Florida State, and that'll be Mike Norvell and his team against Haynes King, a good quarterback for Georgia Tech. There's another ABC and ESPN entity in that afternoon on Saturday, August 31st. Texas will host Colorado State, kind of in the 2:30 window. So you'll go early, Clemson, Georgia. You'll go in the afternoon. You'll go in the afternoon on ABC, Miami, Florida, and then on ESPN you'll have Texas, Colorado State, and then at night Notre Dame and A&M. One-stop shopping this year for SEC fans. It's going to be on Disney. It's going to be on ESPN, ABC, or the SEC network. All that. There will be no CBS.
No, so it's going to get. I think some people are going to getting used to. Not kind of that middle afternoon, 2:30 CBS, flip it over for the marquee game. Now flip it over to ABC or ESPN to watch those games. So it'll be good, and
And the Pac-12.
Well,
Pac-2.
do we have to bring this up, Brett?
They announced full
sure did.
didn't they?
They sure did.
It's 2 teams.
Yes, and did it big. I mean, I saw CW with a big tweet with a big video about how we're the home of the Pac-12 football this season, and
the little bitty house.
The comments were not nice. I'll just leave it at that.
It's a really little bitty house.
Yes,
the home of the two-pack.
Yes, but it gets me excited. All of these schedule updates and kind of getting ready for the season, because it's going to be here before we know it. Brett, we were talking off air of just kind of how this doesn't really start it, but it kind of starts kind of that, okay, it's starting to feel like football's getting close, and then we get to the summer and you get to media days, and then it really starts to feel real, and then you start seeing videos and reports from practices and camp and then
very controversial depth chart.
Oh, of course, depth chart, that's always a big day, and then finally we're there and to the start of the season, so it's fun kind of getting these and saying, man, football, it's right around the corner.
I love depth chart mania, don't you?
It's great. It's great, it's
and they've never
it's
wanted
awful,
to
Brett.
post them, and they don't want to post them now, because if you do, and you're not at the top of the depth chart,
exactly.
You're out of there.
Yeah, well, and we talked about that a lot during spring practices. You're seeing teams either not go depth chart at all for the spring game, or they'll do what Ole Miss did. I think Charlotte did something similar where they do like the 7-on-7 style, and it's just kind of everyone's out there having fun. So that you don't have to think about a depth chart. Ole Miss didn't go out there on during the spring game and say, all right, first team, get out there against second team defense. And, they said, hey, this group of guys, y'all are going to go first. This group of guys will go after, and they're mixing, and everyone's just having fun. Nobody's thinking about the depth chart. And it's going to be interesting to see how that also happens around the start of the season, because you're right. There are not a lot of teams that want to let their entire depth chart be known, because for such a long time it was, we don't want to give the opponents an advantage so they know what's coming. But now it's, we don't want our own players to know what's happening, because we want everyone to stay together and stay bought in that close to the season.
And for the SEC, one other announcement today, Alabama, Coach Kalen DeBoer's first game at Alabama will be at 6 o'clock that Saturday, August 31st in Tuscaloosa against Western Kentucky. And I've said Tyson Helton has got to walk to that midfield pregame chit-chat, light visit with other coach and look around and go, thank goodness Nick Saban is gone.
I think that's going to happen pretty much every Saturday this year, Brett.
I don't know what I'm going to get in this guy. I probably, Bama's probably going to take care of business against Western Kentucky regardless of whoever's coach. But I know what everybody else got from that other guy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I think a lot of coaches are going to enter game week and enter game day against Alabama and say, man, Kalen DeBoer might be a good coach, but I'm glad I'm not about to line up against Nick Saban.
You think anybody
a lot of
go out
success
there and crack with him, Coach DeBoer, never been so glad to see you.
I could see it. I think I know a couple that might say that. Maybe one that coaches Ole Miss that likes to have fun with the coach. Oh, that's true.
They don't meet this year, and Kirby might. He might go. He might go out and crack too.
Especially after how last year ended. Yeah, certainly.
What'd you do with the old guy that was here before you? Also today announced that the rest of the September TV dates for most of college football will be announced on Thursday, May 30th, and the following week on Thursday, June 6th, we will have the full schedule for the postseason bowls in college football. We already know some, and we know the college football playoff. And that Saturday, December 21st, it's going to be a busy day. We talked about the local basketball angle before NBA season, the playoffs, NBC encroaching with 2 games that day, 2 afternoon games,
right.
CBS Fox, and then 1 on Saturday night. So we're going to get a good test case of if college football playoffs can't stand up to an NFL regular season game, then we have our answer. You never take them on.
Right,
You do whatever you have to do to your schedule.
Well, and that's the good thing. I mean, you'll know for certainty. There won't even be a question. Nobody will even be able to argue. If NFL comes out on that date and just kills them, and it's just very easily they have the advantage, then you'll know. There will never be that argument. So that'll be definitely interesting to see.
Superman's cake.
No, and I think I'm sure the NFL thinks that that's probably what's going to happen, but we'll have to see. I think there's going to be a lot of intrigue about these college football playoffs to kind of see where they go and what happens with them, but we'll just have to wait and see. But I do love all the scheduling news we're getting.
A lot of news. We're in our Family Leisure studios. Thank you so much to Billy and the great team out there where family and fun come together. Factory direct pricing on swimming pools, spas, and patio furniture. It's patio season. Come by Family Leisure and check out the new 2024 patio furniture sets. Pool season. It's here in full force right now. Get in line for your pool installation and get preseason pricing right now. Save $1,000 to $5,000 on all spas and swim spas. Also special pricing on all in-stock saunas, theater seating, pool tables, and outdoor kitchens. Everything that makes the summer better, you can get it at Family Leisure. Family Leisure at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
Well, let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Joe Tomic, the executive director for the FedEx St. Jude Championship, will join us. We'll talk some golf with him and also what to expect. We're less than 100 days away from being out at Southwind. 91 days, 16 hours, and 44 minutes to be exact.
How about that?
Yeah, they got
they've
got the live ticker on their website, so that's fun to see. So we'll definitely talk a lot about what's coming up and what people can expect, how to get your tickets, all of that. We'll do that in our next segment with Joe.
I'm going to call it 13 weeks.
I like it. That's fine. Hey, tomato, right?
Yeah,
You call it 13 weeks, I'll call it 91 days. We're both right.
Get us to the second again.
91 days, 16 hours, 43 minutes. We don't have seconds on here. We just have the minutes on here. Thankfully, I hate when we get down to the seconds. 3:45, we'll talk NBA playoffs. Two interesting games last night, especially that second one, Oklahoma City and Dallas, a really, really fun game last night. So we'll talk some NBA playoffs at 3:45. 4 o'clock, Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville will join us. We'll talk some college football with him, a lot of scheduling with him as well, with all of this coming out in the last couple of days, even today, and will continue to come out. 4:30, we'll talk some baseball. It was a fun night last night. We've already got one final in the books today in Major League Baseball. Another game getting ready to start here in this hour. So we'll talk some baseball at 4:30. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Bo Marchant, he'll join us to talk the NFL. We'll talk NFL with Bo for about 17, 18 minutes, and then we'll get out early with Bo and get to an early Taco Bell crunch time.
Ton of schedule news with the NFL.
Plenty, and we'll get the full rollout tomorrow from the NFL, but certainly a ton of leaks already from the NFL as well, so plenty of scheduling to get to with Bo. Like I mentioned, 17, 18 minutes with Bo. We'll get out early with him, talking about crunch time about 5:18 or so, and then we'll get out of here at 5:30 for Ole Miss at Southern Miss pregame. That first pitch scheduled for 6 o'clock.
We're in our Family Leisure studios, and this hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by the one and only Lexus dealership at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500. You'll be looking, you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it's got to be the NBA playoffs from last night. 2 games, but really it was the second game that had my full attention. The first one, Celtics get a 109-102 win over the Cavs. I think much more closer than a lot of people thought, especially Boston Celtics fans. I know Keith Smith, who we'll talk to on Thursday, he put out a tweet either early in the game or right before the game started, said, I don't care how it gets done, just win the game. It doesn't matter the spread or anything like that, just win the game, and that's what the Celtics did to get a 3-1 series lead over the Cavaliers, as that series will now head back to Boston. But the second game was really interesting. Thunder and Mavs in Dallas, and the Thunder walk out with a 100-96 victory over Dallas. A game where the Mavericks were up, but then a big second half performance from the Thunder. Thunder defensively held Dallas to only 15 points in that third quarter, really when Dallas was rolling late in the second quarter, but it was all Thunder late in the game, and really this came down to big-time plays late in the game. It was a back-and-forth game, really close, but on one end, the Dallas Mavericks could not convert at the free throw line. The entire game, they went 12 for 23 from the charity stripe, but in the fourth quarter, 6 for 11, 54% from the free throw line. That really did them in, but on the other side, Thunder made plays. SGA was awesome last night, came up with some big-time passes, some big-time assists, some big-time buckets late in that game to secure the win for the Thunder, and now this one all knotted up back 2-2 as we'll go back to OKC for Game 5. This one has all the riding of going the distance, a 7-game series all over it. We'll see what happens, but 2 really fun games last night and should be 2 really interesting games tonight as well.
I'm right there with you. That's my top story. It's the NBA. 3 series, Deuces Wild, all tied up at 2 each, with Oklahoma City powered by 34 from SGA in his NBA career playoff breakout game to beat Dallas in Dallas last night. Only 1 series at 3-1, and the only real surprise in that 3-1 for Boston is that Cleveland got the 1. Surprise, Miami got 1. That's all they got. And now that Cleveland got 1, that's all they're going to get. Boston in total control, the heavy favorites to win, and seemingly on their way to that treasured number 18 NBA championship to break the tie they're in right now with the Lakers at 17. Get to 18, they can reclaim the most titles in the NBA.
Not top story of the day.
Well, Brett, I might be a little selfish with my not top story of the day, but it's got to be the Cardinals last night against the Angels. The emotion that was running through my body. Our Cardinals, Brett. Unfortunately, not Lee Aldwin's Cardinals. We'd convinced Johnny to be a Cardinals fan. I don't think we can do the same thing with Lee Aldwin.
We made Johnny.
We did. I mean, we kind of forced him, and I'm curious. Now that he's up in Detroit and kind of away from us, a little bit of a freedom for him. I don't know if he'll stick with the Cardinals. I hope, but I don't think so.
Tigers are his American League team.
Sure, and the Cardinals can be his National League team. But that game last night, Brett, in about the 5th or 6th inning, I was walking around my house going, I mean, if they can't beat the Angels, they really can't beat anybody. They might not win another game all season long. I mean, it was really the bottom of the barrel.
You thought Cardinals never going to win another game?
Yes, I was. And then after an 8-run inning that kept me from watching the NBA playoff game because I was going, what in the world is happening? Where did this come from? I had to change my mind and really, instead of saying they might never lose a game again, I said that yesterday's ejection for Ali Marmol, where he said after the game that he really just needed something to change. You really just wanted to give him a spark of energy.
Shake it up.
That might have been what the team needed. Brett, they may never lose a game again.
Brian, I don't have that feeling.
They may never lose again, Brett. I mean, 2-0 since he got ejected.
10-5 winners last night at Anaheim. I don't know. It's a really bad team.
Yeah, it's not great now.
Your guy Liebertor on the mound, too.
He was not great.
He was not. My not top story, I love all these college football coaches that are now catching a serious case of scruples. There's no known vaccine for it. I don't know if you want a vaccine for scruples. I don't even know if a mask can help. But you got Brian Kelly talking about not paying defensive linemen, and Hugh Freeze is not going to pay a quarterback what the going rate is, and Boise State's coach is going to make them all learn it. Who believes any of this? Does Brian Kelly not realize that he left Notre Dame? He left Notre Dame as the all-time winningest coach at Notre Dame. He didn't leave for Baton Rouge for less cash, did he?
No, not at all.
Did Hugh Freeze leave Liberty for less money?
No, not at all.
Nor should they. Nor should they. But this sudden case of scruples among some of these college football coaches, it's laugh out loud funny, isn't it?
It really is.
Because we know they're not having that. We know they got outbid. To read the stories that LSU doesn't have its NIL act together, and Auburn hadn't, Brian Harsin really did a number.
Sure did.
On Auburn. I think Hugh Freeze, he may have a bigger rebuild right now at Auburn than what he walked into at Ole Miss.
He really might, which is crazy to think about.
And it was pretty desperate.
Sure.
At Ole Miss when
Absolutely.
he came in for the 2012 season. That was after 4-8 and 2-10, I think.
Yikes. He's got to figure it out. That's for sure. Got to get something going over there, I guess. But I'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break. And when we return, we're heading out to Southwind to the FedEx St. Jude Championship to talk to Executive Director Joe Tomic.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Are you looking for a better way to sell farm, construction, or fleet equipment? Purple Wave Auction takes the hassle out of selling heavy equipment. Our experienced auction professionals make the entire process easy, and we'll market each asset not just to our enormous equipment buying community, but specifically to the right bidders who are eager to purchase your specific assets. We'll handle the paperwork and payments so you can get back to running your business. Join the growing list of happy sellers who don't just sell but succeed with Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
This show's sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. We all have something to get off our chest. Therapy is a safe space to share whatever's weighing you down, so you can get some relief and find a solution. BetterHelp offers professional, affordable online therapy on a flexible schedule. Start the process in minutes. Switch therapists anytime. Let it out with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/succeed today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/succeed.
When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place: the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
It's time to get to Gossett Kia on the Pike so Bobby J can put you in your new Kia today. Want summer fun and 41 MPG? We Gossett with 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month. Get extra room and extra fun with 2024 Kia Telluride LX, $357 a month, both $39.99 due at signing, all 24-month lease, plus 0% APR for 48 months available on the all-new Kia EV9. And peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So hurry to Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Include all rebates and incentives. Price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695, $650 acquisition fee, EV6 P5610964, MSRP $50,200, Telluride RG $510,849, MSRP $38,305, Forte LXS RE78169, MSRP $21,820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
The success you've had in life matters. The late nights, the extra shifts, the moments you've stood up and said, "I've got this." At University of Maryland Global Campus, we value your achievements because we're a school for real life. With us, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and life and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer scholarships, affordable tuition, and online and hybrid classes, all with the support you need from your first day to graduation day and beyond. As an accredited state university, we've been transforming lives for over 75 years. Choose from more than 125 undergraduate and graduate degrees and certificates, and get ready to succeed again. Now is the perfect time to take the next step in your life and education. Apply by May 31st and get your application fee waived. Combined with affordable tuition, scholarships, and financial resources, your degree is more attainable than ever before. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
It's silly season in the life of your roof. I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. The weather can be unpredictable, and I'm ready to get more life out of your roof with our award-winning Owens Corning repair team. We're the repair guys the other repair guys call when they can't find the problem. Leaks become black mold when ignored. That's why when you call me, I start my inspection in the attic. Is it time for a beautiful new roof? 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space and get you an estimate right over the phone. The best warranty in the business, including a warranty against ice dams. The only roofer in Memphis to offer a warranty against water intrusion due to snow buildup. Ask about military and first responder discounts. 901-867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York, but many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You could just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A couple of wrecks being sorted out here in the last few minutes. Already some volume waiting for you over here on 240 East up by Poplar. Looks pretty decent at the moment. I-40 East as you travel between Warford and Hollywood, headed over to White Station. It picks up at times around the zoo. That's been a little busy in the last 15-20 minutes. Still looks good. 40 West across the Hernando de Soto Bridge as you continue 40 back over into Arkansas, there into West Memphis. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, located 7525 Highway 64, is your full-service family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. Go by and see them. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. And joining us now, the Executive Director of the FedEx St. Jude Championship, Joe Tomic. He joins us now. Joe, thanks so much for joining us. Less than 100 days away until everyone's out at Southwind enjoying some great golf. I saw on the website 91 days, 16 hours, and 27 minutes is the updated time until the week of the tournament. What is it like? I know we're excited to get out there in a couple of months, but what is the excitement for y'all? What is the excitement like around Southwind for the tournament coming up?
Well, Brian, first of all, thanks for the reminder. I definitely needed that in my blood pressure going on right now. But no, good to talk to you both. Thanks for having me on. As always, it's a pleasure to chat. It's the best time of year.
Sure is.
Pretty simple as that. We started building yesterday morning. So if you come out here to TPC Southwind right now, you'll see some of the foundation on 18 green and some of the other areas starting to go up. So it is definitely go time towards August.
It's go time. And, Joe, I'll tell you just selfishly, no doubt down the stretch at the Masters who I was pulling for, I knew if Scotty Scheffler won, we get him. We don't get the live guys. We may someday, but right now we got a lot to sort out in professional golf, and it's why this week at Valhalla, I'm pulling for a guy that I know that can be here in August.
I agree with that. Always good to root for the PGA Tour boys and Scotty. At this point, I'm just hoping that the playoffs are still in contention by the time we get here, because, man, is he putting on a show this year.
He's running off and hiding, and it should be a lot of fun. Rory McIlroy, if he won this week, we know what he can do at Southwind, don't we?
We do. He's got a good record here. He's primed to break through a win. This week here at Valhalla is somewhere he's won before, so maybe that'll help jockey him up the leaderboard a little bit. But no, right now is you're halfway through the season, really, and now it's really kind of a race to the 70 mark and who's going to make it to Memphis. And that's kind of the value that we've seen over the last 2 years in it being a part of the FedEx Cup playoffs is the entire summer, really the whole season. But once you get past the second major of the year, it's all about the playoffs. Who's positioning themselves inside or outside of the top 70 to make it to Memphis, make it to the playoffs, and set themselves up at a shot at the Cup.
Ideally, I would like to have 4 different major winners all be here, and the week before have that gold medal winner here in town. That's why we're kicked back a week. It's 2 weeks before. It's the Olympics, then Wyndham, then us, and we're a week later because of that. I would love to have somebody here with a gold medal on.
Yeah, I think 2 years ago it worked out that way. Xander showed up on site after fresh off the first gold medal, or the latest gold medal, I should say, in men's golf. And it was fun seeing him flash it around. He used it as a ball marker at some point out there in a practice round, just jiving with some of the other players. But it's cool to see. I'm glad golf's back in the Olympics. It's definitely good for the sport. And we'll be fresh off that boom, like you said, 2 weeks after handing out a gold medal.
Jack Nicklaus famously would mark his ball with a dime tail side up. That wouldn't have any chance of getting hardly any chance of getting in anyone's line. I think a gold medal could get in somebody's line, Joe.
I had the good fortune of holding that thing while it was here, and I'd probably still miss it if I were putting, but that would get in some of the pros' ways, that's for sure.
You're right. I probably wouldn't be within 15 feet of it. Joe Tomick with us on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line, and we're going to have so much fun at the golf tournament as we always have. Joe, kind of the first real fastball I'm going to throw at you. I have heard and I have lobbied for it for years. If we're in the playoffs and as good as FedEx that they are with the tour, I want live from originating from Memphis. Can you confirm or deny if we will have Golf Channel live from TPC Southwind at the FESJC?
Brett, as always, my friend, you are full of sources and knowledge that most people don't have, and I appreciate you for it. But that does look like a dream come true this year. We will very likely have NBC's Live From crew, which is their pre- and post-round coverage. Usually only goes on site during the majors and some of the other signature events, and we're very excited and plan on having them here in Memphis this year to help amplify the importance, the significance, and just the excitement of the FedEx AG Championship.
That is so good. Yeah. When they roll in, it's like college game day. You're already big without it. It just kind of validates that it's really big, and as great as FedEx and you and this tournament's been, it's deserving. And Joe, I don't like to use the word deserve. I think you get out of life what you earn. You guys and gals that work so hard at that tournament, y'all have earned that endorsement from Golf Channel to be here.
Well, I appreciate that. I take very little, if any, credit whatsoever. We've got an incredible team here on staff all year that works, pours everything they have into 1 week out of the year to make sure we're showing up for our city, for our sponsors, for our charity. But really, Brett, it's 67 years of history. I mean, this tournament was here long before I was. It'll be here long after I'm gone. And all of that history, the volunteers, the executive directors before me, the charity, and, of course, the support from FedEx. Those are the things that amplified and ultimately led the road of something like Live From, the playoffs, and all of that happening here in Memphis.
That's great news. And I love Brandel Chamblee. I know he cuts both ways with a lot of people. It's kind of what Johnny Miller used to do with a lot of golf fans, and Johnny Miller had that status as major winner. But Brandel Chamblee, I think, knows the history of the game and the history of every event he works about as well as anyone. And I say this jokingly and lovingly, and yes, I'll say it to his face. The Memphis humidity may do something to all that hair gel he's working. he better really bring the product that week, Joe.
Well, I feel the effects of it myself. Don't worry, but I think they take care of him on set a little bit more, so I think he'll be just fine.
Yeah.
That's great. Joe, I'm curious. I saw on social media y'all posted yesterday the new grant program, the equipment grant program that y'all are starting. Can you talk more about that and how y'all are helping the community through this?
Yeah, Brian, appreciate you asking. We're super excited to launch that last week. On Friday was World Golf Day, the industry's chance to celebrate the sport of golf as a whole, whether at the professional level, amateur level, you name it. The reach of golf is just incredible. 66 billion users or players. It's a $100 billion industry. It's the only sport you can find on all 7 continents. Its reach is incredible. And here in Memphis, we want to make sure we're doing our part as the pinnacle of the sport in growing the game of golf. The city of Memphis, hats off to them. Mickey Barker and the entire team at the city of Memphis have done tremendous things for our public golf. Every single one of their courses has been renovated in the last few years. The First Tee, we're super excited to bring them back and kind of support that organization at the youth level. Andy Mears is their new executive director. He's got some great ideas of how he can infuse some energy into that program, which we believe is super valuable at the youth level. And ultimately, one of the biggest things that's a hurdle for getting people in the game of golf is cost and getting their hands on equipment, balls, clubs, bags, you name it. And we want to help make sure we're breaking down those barriers. So any nonprofit in the city of Memphis, any registered 501c3 is able to apply. We've seen it work with youth, veterans, special needs, you name it. Any of the underrepresented and underserved parts of our communities, we want to make sure they have an opportunity to introduce golf to their constituents. And so the grant program is live. It's a rolling program, so there's no deadline to submit. It'll be live throughout the year. All you got to do is go to the website, FedExChampionship.com, make your way to our community impact page, and you'll see all the information, the application. If you know someone, if you hear of someone, if you think there's an organization we should talk to, by all means, please reach out. And we're really excited to get that one out throughout the community.
Joe, that's extraordinary work. It really is. And, at the very least, okay, maybe you don't turn somebody into a tour player. You may not even turn someone into being city, Pub Links champion. What you may do, though, is introduce them to a game that they can play into their 70s and 80s and enjoy it. The late, great Phil Cannon used to say that golf is such a great sport that even when baseball players want to have, or other sports want to have fundraisers, they have a golf tournament.
Absolutely. You nailed it, Brett. It's the only sport where as young as you want, as old as you want, you can still pick up the sport. And that's the idea. Like you said, maybe we do find the next PGA Tour player, and that would be an incredible story to tell. But hopefully we just arm a few more individuals in our community that say, I can play golf, or I am a golfer, or I'm not intimidated to go be a part of that charity outing that I'm always invited to. There's so much value in the game, both from the exercise athletic side of things, but also the mental health, the camaraderie, the leadership skills, all of those sort of things that those of us that golf have picked up on and now apply in our day-to-day lives. We just want to make sure that everyone in our community feels like they can get there too.
Joe, tell our listeners, because I know there's a price point for everyone. You can go and enjoy those days at the golf tournament however you would like to do them. You want to do it in the corporate style, there are packages. You want to do it one day only ticket, you can do it. If you want to just sneak out there over a lunch hour for one day, you can do it. Tell our listeners how they can get more information from you about going to our great event in August.
You nailed it. Everything is on our website, FedExChampionship.com. There's tons of information. There's a chat bot. If you have any questions whatsoever, throw it in and someone on my team will reach out. Certainly on the hospitality front, if you're a business owner, if you know someone who owns a business and is looking for employee entertainment, getting with customers, we have that in spades, and reach out to someone on my team and they'll certainly get you in touch with the right experience. But from a fan perspective, there's Wednesday through Sunday tickets available. Prices do change and will continue to change. I can't hammer that point home enough. What you pay right now is a lot cheaper than what you will pay in 91 days and 32 hours and all that sort of stuff that Brian just read out. Mm-hmm. So go to the website, get your tickets now. And the thing I cannot stress enough is that kids get in free. 15 and under do not need a ticket. 2 kids with every ticketed adult. It is the most family-friendly event you can possibly find in the city. Come out. You have 18 different chances for a front row seat. That's the beauty of golf. You can stand right along the rope line, the entire course, get to shake hands, high five, get autographs, the whole 9 yards. It is the most fun a family can have.
You want to pick a winner at Valhalla this week?
It's hard not to pull for Rory.
Sure is.
Going through stuff. He's getting dragged through the mud a bit on the media side of things. He's won here before. He's fresh off a win. It's tough to go back-to-back. Don't get me wrong. So I do think he's got an uphill battle, but I always got a soft spot for Rory.
And he likes Memphis. I
Sure
do
does.
too. And he's been good to us. I'm always for that.
Absolutely.
You and me both.
Well, Joe, thanks so much for joining us. It's always fun catching up with you and talking about the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Let's do this again soon.
Always happy to jump on it. Always enjoy chatting with you both, and looking forward to doing it again soon.
Thanks,
you,
Joe. Thanks so much.
Joe Tomic, the executive director for the FedEx St. Jude Championship, joining us to talk some golf. He likes Rory this weekend. How about that?
Live from
that's massive.
Monday,
that's
Tuesday,
huge.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night.
And Brett, I remember last year while we were out there, you were talking about you have.
I didn't go crazy.
No.
I didn't. I wanted to, but I was.
But you just kind of.
I was asked by somebody.
Yeah.
Don't make a major out of it.
Sure.
But make a little out of it.
Sure. And then you just kind of. What would make this better? It's always already so great out here. Fly From came out here.
Playoffs.
Yeah, it's the playoffs. Make it big.
Man, I think I went full Jim Moore playoff voice.
I love that. You sure did.
And I'm glad they're doing.
Yeah, no, that's going to be awesome. And it just, this event is already so good and so much fun to get out there and watch it in person or watch it on TV. But definitely having that just adds a little bit of flavor to it. And really, like you said with Joe, kind of makes it feel big time. Like it's always there with the majors. It's there for other big time signature events. So having it there for the playoffs, having it here in Memphis will definitely be big. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, NBA playoff action, 2 really fun games last night, 2 games tonight that should be just as fun as those games last night. So let's get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about everything that's happening with the NBA playoffs.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
You know, one thing we never talk about is how family-friendly Central Barbecue is.
Always has been.
At any Central Barbecue location.
And there are a lot of them.
You know your kids will have a good time and a great meal.
The kids' menu is perfect.
Everything from a grilled cheese to a junior barbecue sandwich to a hot dog, junior chicken sandwich, or classic mac and cheese, and they all come with a side and a small drink, all at a great price.
You just left me with literally nothing to say about kids at Central Barbecue.
I was just trying to be thorough.
You covered everything. What am I supposed to talk about?
The parking?
You just sold the whole commercial.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better. I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Looking for a new show to dive into? Well, go to Hulu and see what's new, because Hulu has new stuff all the time, like the full season of FX's epic limited series Shogun, FX's new international spy thriller The Veil, starring Emmy and Golden Globe winner Elizabeth Moss, and don't miss the all-new crime series Under the Bridge, inspired by shocking true events and starring Riley Keough and Lily Gladstone. It's all new and it's streaming right now on Hulu.
As the seasons change, so does the need for reliable home comfort. It's time to turn to the experts with Choates, where your family's comfort is our top priority. Right now, Choates is making it easier than ever to upgrade your home's climate control with our exceptional Carrier systems. There's never been a better time to enhance your comfort. Select from incredibly low monthly payments, 36 months no interest financing, or choose our $1,650 Cool Cash rebate instead and lower the upfront cost on select Carrier systems. It's not just savings, it's cool cash in your pocket. Low monthly payments, no interest financing, or cool cash rebates? Whatever you choose, you're choosing quality, reliability, and the trusted service of Choates. Call us today at 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com to learn more about these incredible savings. But hurry, these deals are as fleeting as a cool breeze on a hot day. Choates, let our family serve your family.
I've got Rockin' Ronnie Smith on the line at Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat on the Pike. And Ronnie, it's the season for the Memorial Day sales event.
It's time to rock, Randy, in your new 2023 Jeep Renegade Latitude 4-wheel drive. $25,889 or $389 a month. That's $5,206 off MSRP. How about a 2024 Dodge Hornet GT all-wheel drive, packing up to 268 horsepower, plus 295 pound-feet of torque, $32,320, plus power up in our 2023 Dodge Charger SXT 4-door, $28,072. That's over $9,000 off MSRP.
So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike, or online anytime, GossettMotorcars.net.
All 75 months at 8.99 APR, 3,500 down, Renegade Triple P 56,520, MSRP 31,095, Charger PH 636,171, MSRP 37,120, Hornet R3A 152,64, MSRP 34,820. Price includes all rebates and incentives and excludes PF 695. Payments includes PF 695. All exclude tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, the NBA playoffs continue to roll right along, and they're just getting more and more entertaining the longer they go on. Last night, I think we were in here when we learned the news. I guess it was start of our third hour, about 5 o'clock, when we learned the news about Donovan Mitchell going to be out. We learned later in that hour about Jared Allen was not going to play as well, and we saw that line jump up. Boston was about a 7.5, 8.5 point favorite earlier in the day. They jumped all the way to about a 12.5, 13 point favorite by the time we were done yesterday afternoon, and they tipped that game off. And that game was much closer than a lot of people anticipated. Just win. That's it. I mentioned earlier, Keith Smith, who we know covers covered the Boston Celtics for a really long time, but is from that area, really loves that Boston Celtics organization. He tweeted it out last night and said, look, just win the game. I mean, it does not matter. Who cares about spread? Who cares about any of that? We're just winning the game. And that's what Boston did last night.
The math is simple for the Celtics. They're one win away from an Eastern Conference final.
That's right. Just win. Who cares? Who cares if it's by 1 point or if it's by 30 points?
So 9 away from that 18th title.
Sure, absolutely. So 109-102 win for them last night. And so, that's huge for them. Jason Tatum.
Plucky.
Sure, yeah. I mean, and I think this is awesome. We talk so much about how much we love J.B. Bickerstaff. And I think the showing that they're putting out against this Celtics team is awesome for him, and I think kind of puts him into that position where...
Is Boston super team? Or just a really good team this year in a wide-open year?
I think they're a really good team. I don't know if I would label super team on them, but they're a really, really good team.
And this will be good to ask Keith after they win it, late June, early July. That would be the 18th championship team. Where would this team rank in that?
Oh, that's a great question.
And like we asked last week about Seth Hennigan and Jackson Dart, it's hard to do it in the immediacy because you don't have that sweet test of time.
Sure, yeah.
And you don't have that mythologizing that you can do all those years. Now, Larry Bird didn't need a whole lot of mythologizing, and Bill Russell. But when you have 40 and 50 and 60 years, to sit around and talk about the good old days, that adds to the fish story.
Absolutely. And we know that was a great example you brought up of last week when we were talking about Seth Hennigan and being a Memphis great. Sure, maybe in 20 or 30 years we look back and say, yes, he's the greatest Tiger of all time. Look at what he did here. But it's that sweet test of time. And so for Boston, I think it's the same way. But it's a really interesting question for Keith of kind of where this team
and these current players won't care about that.
No.
All they will care about is we got the first one since 08.
Exactly.
And that's a long
huge
time in Celtic lore.
Absolutely.
To go 08 to 24.
Absolutely. So that'll be fun to talk about and to see what they can do. It feels like, very comfortable 3-1 lead right now, that next series against either the Pacers or the Knicks will definitely be interesting. That's the question. 2-2 right now. And
tonight could really get off the rails.
Knicks only a 1.5-point favorite tonight, I think.
In wobbly.
Sure.
In reeling.
Absolutely.
Really being critiqued and criticized.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's only going to build. I mean, Brett, you mentioned it, late last week or maybe it was yesterday that the national media loves to build a New York team up when they're doing good, but right when they fall off, right when first sign of adversity hits, they crush them, and so you're starting to see that.
New York Talk Radio tomorrow morning.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was a mirage. They were never that good.
That's right.
We really do miss Randall.
That's right. It's gonna be all of that. So we'll see. I mean, both these series tonight 2-2. So I think both these games are gonna be really, really interesting.
I do think the bigger the market, the bigger the hyperbole.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Whether greatest team ever.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Or we're not that good.
Sure. I mean, it comes with the territory.
I think Smallville, we've got a better sense of it.
I think so. Before we get to a break, what'd you think of that Thunder Mavericks game last night?
It was SGA's night.
It really was.
And you nailed it in your top story. It was defensively inspired.
It was. With two teams
100 points got an NBA playoff win.
It's crazy. And with two teams that I think all season long you knew what they brought offensively, but at times you questioned them defensively. But last night, both really relying on what they were doing defensively made the game extremely fun to watch if you're kind of a guy that likes defense.
Now the Kyrie Irving questions, they're back out for him in a big game, him in a big series.
Sure.
What will he do? Last night, another 9 spot. You can't have a series that you advance with him scoring 9 in one game, much less 2.
Sure. But, also found ways, and I thought, dished the ball really well and found open teammates. But you're right, kind of a quiet night for him.
Very deferential.
Sure. And then Luka missing the free throw late in the game was really a crusher for them as well. So we'll see what happens tonight. It should be a lot of fun with these two series, both knotted up 2-2, and we'll see which one of these teams tonight can get that upper hand. Both those games tonight on TNT. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break, wrap up our first hour, and when we come back, we're talking college football with Brent Beard.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town, open noon to 1:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 10 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town, grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck domestics, $2.25. Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
Anticipation is building for Memphis football.
3, 2, 1, that's your winner!
With a cast of returning stars ready for the big stage.
Caught! Rock Taylor! Touchdown Tigers!
The momentum for Memphis football is on the rise.
Harrigan into the end zone. Tiger touchdown. He just wouldn't be denied.
It's time to pounce. So purchase your tickets today at GoTigersGo.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I think my battery's dead.
With free battery testing and charging, we can help you get back on the road.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
So what if I need a new one?
We have the right Duralast battery for you, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
And what about my old battery?
We can recycle it right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Thinking about buying a lab-grown diamond versus a natural diamond? Before you make a decision, get the facts at Genesis Diamonds.
We have professionals, certified diamond graders, people who have been in the industry for 20, 30 plus years who are able to educate.
Nadia Ganizer at Genesis says Genesis carries both natural and lab-grown diamonds and can give you all the pros and cons.
So if they have a question about lab-grown diamond value, we will explain that. We will explain the difference in price. We will explain what to expect in the future.
Nadia says beware. A lot of jewelry stores are using the popularity of lab-grown diamonds to outrageously mark up these stones.
Some retailers charge unreasonable amounts for lab-grown diamonds, and I think that they do take advantage of customers.
But at Genesis, their low-price margin philosophy is the same for natural and lab-grown.
Our price will still be the lowest.
Get the education and value you deserve every day on every diamond at Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Admit it. When you start thinking about tastes of Memphis, you think treats, sweets. You think Dinstall's. For 122 years now. What is that, 5 generations? When people wanted something to bring to a party that will just make everybody happy, they bring out Dinstall's. 122 years of cashew crunch, of heavenly hash, of turtlettes, of their award-winning fudge. That's worldwide. It's known that well. Then there's the milk chocolate. It all starts there. There's the double-dip peanuts. And then every fall, those famous chocolate-covered strawberries with that fondant. And they won't tell you what's in the fondant, but it makes it oh so special. And easy to get to. 5 locations. There's where they make the candies in Pleasant View. There's Germantown. There's Collierville. There's even one downtown and in my neck of the woods in Laurelwood. You know what? 122 years made in Memphis and enjoyed by the whole world. Dinstall's.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's cranking it pretty good now on 240 East here from Mill Branch all the way out to 385 Bill Morris Parkway. Yes, it's a little bit heavy. 240 East already trying to get past Poplar as traffic only increases out of the Midtown area this time of the afternoon, not only on 240 southbound as you head on down towards Norris, but also over here on I-40 at Chelsea in both directions. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. They want you to know they are your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in the Memphis area. Go by and see them. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. College football talk every Tuesday with Brent Beard, Heisman voter, and on Twitter X at Brent Beard. SEC, ACC, AAC. We talk it all with Brent. Here's Brent Beard with Bryant and Brett.
Brent Beard joins us now from First Coast News down in Jacksonville to talk some college football like we do at this time every Tuesday afternoon. Brent, thanks so much for joining us. We're getting so much scheduling news from pretty much everywhere as these networks are starting to finalize what games they'll be carrying early in the season and even a couple weeks into the season. Has anything really jumped out to you as kind of interesting when you're seeing all of these scheduling releases?
Well, it's a great weekend schedule, by the way, on that first weekend. Because I'll be there, I'm not overly excited about this 3:30 p.m. kickoff for Florida and Miami.
Pack the sunscreen.
Yeah, it should be probably about 150 in the press box, much less on the field about that time.
That's open air at Gainesville, isn't it?
It is.
You'll feel the humidity.
And look, the thing you pray for in a game on a day like that is that you have that you have a breeze and it's overcast. So we're hoping that's going to happen. I mean, look, you can't help but be excited about this LSU USC game on the 4th on Sunday night at 7:30. That's basically a standalone game, and then on Saturday, a lot of these games kind of get left a little bit, but that Notre Dame A&M game's intriguing, isn't it, guys?
Yeah.
Games at A&M.
Game day will be there. Coach Saban will be there.
Oh yeah, so that
you think Jimbo will go by and say hello to Coach Saban?
Yeah, he may send a card, but he may not sign it.
And that day, that's two young coaches in their tenures at Notre Dame and A&M.
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely. But you contrast that to the aforementioned Miami and Florida game, where you've got two coaches that
have to have it.
Yeah, they really do. And look, I'm not saying loser leave town at all with that one, but whoever wins that game, that will be a humongous relief for them.
Georgia and Clemson, I just assumed would be where game day would originate from. It's not. It's going to be in Dublin the weekend before for Georgia Tech and FSU, and then at College Station, and then to be decided for Saturday, September 7th. A lot of places they could be, including up in Ann Arbor, far Texas, at Michigan, and the whole cross-promotion that I know Fox and SEC and ABC don't want to do, but they may be forced into it because I want game day at the best college game of the day. If that happens to be SEC and happens to be Disney and ABC and the networks that paying billions for those right fees, then great. If it's not, and you are doing a lot of cross promotion, well, that's the rub of the green. That's easy for me to say with no skin in the game.
Yeah, well, I understand that, but they've done it before, and they can do it. And look, if it's the best game, it's the best game. So
that's where you need to be.
It is, yeah. Bottom line. Speaking of places to be, I heard Billy Napier last night. He met with the media here in Jacksonville, and one Mike Norvell from Florida State's going to be here tomorrow night.
Wow.
I don't know why they ended up here in the same week. Frankly,
well, Mike Norvell likes the media. He did that here. Yeah. He's great to deal with.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him. I think that will be a good crowd. And frankly, Napier really did. And by the way, Florida has a good sports information staff. And I've mentioned Florida 2 or 3 times. I'm not going to make this a Gator segment, but condolences to Norm Carlson's family and friends, the long-time SID at University of Florida, died at 90 years old. Same age Hootie Ingram was, by the way.
That's a good
that we talked about last week from Alabama and Florida State. Florida has this ring of honor, and this would be odd, but I think he frankly deserves it if they put Norm Carlson in the ring of honor. No, he wasn't a player, but here's a guy that was as instrumental as anybody in getting Steve Spurrier the Heisman, and basically he went a long way naming the stadium at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium the Swamp. So kudos to Norm Carlson, and I don't know if you knew him well, Brett, but
not well, but knew him. The first time I was ever around Norm was on a historic day, the first SEC championship game at Legion Field between Florida and Alabama in 1992, and then didn't seem a lot over here in the West as much as, of course, you do, living and working out of Jacksonville, but would see him and know of him at SEC Media Days, and that whole roster of those first few SEC Media Days, whether it was Larry White at Alabama or Rick Schaefer at Arkansas or Norm or Claude Felton or Herb Vincent at LSU, who was trained by Mr. Manasseh, Bud and Haywood at Tennessee, Langston at Ole Miss, Mike Nemeth at State. I rattle all those names off because they were also very nice to me.
Well, Bryant, you'll find this out. I imagine you already have. If you can work with a helpful SID, it makes your job so much easier. Now, I've encountered, I'm sure Brett has, SID that thought they were more important than the program, and they were the gatekeeper.
Sadly, almost every one of those good men that I named, their successors were the opposite of that.
Yeah, and look, we still struggle with that today, frankly, and I'm very appreciative of what Claude Felton did at Georgia. To me, Claude was always the preeminent SID.
He said yes, where all these guys are Dr. No.
Yeah. I mean, Claude would, if he saw somebody in the press box he didn't know, he would go and introduce himself. Is there anything I can help you with? And Norm was even more than that. And Norm was a mentor for a lot of guys in giving them advice and helping them as they went on. But it had, and look, I don't want to hear this excuse about it's a corporate world and we need to act that way. If you've got that job, you need to be able to work with the media. They may not be real mature sometimes when you're working with them, with their in their late teens or in their 20s, but that's beside the point. Listen, we all learn this business. The more friends you make, the better you are,
and the more fun that it is. And
it is.
And those guys that we named, and Norm Carlson certainly was that. I can remember being out at dinner here on a Friday night with Haywood Harris and Bud Ford, and Haywood had to go and make a call on a payphone, and that was when it was going down that Johnny Majors was being fired.
Wow.
And it was the night before Tennessee played Memphis here in 1992, and he came back to the table and said, look, off the record, a lot's going down with Johnny. We don't know that he's coaching tomorrow. He did, and then was out after the weekend was over.
Well, I remember Hayward well, and my dealings with him were always productive and pleasant, and I appreciated that in him. So, I won't belabor the point here, but I wanted to call attention to Norm and what he did, and how important that position is in colleges.
To run a Heisman campaign in 1966, we didn't have any inkjet printers then. That was hard to do.
Well, it was, but it certainly worked out. It was successful, so all that was important too. And by the way, right up the road from where we are here, the ACC meetings that are going on. Oh my Lord, to be a fly on the wall for some of these meetings, and I'm hoping
today at North Carolina.
Sure did. Yes.
With North Carolina, I can't imagine Bubba Cunningham liking the headlines today of kind of money issues in the athletics department at UNC. Right. If they got money trouble, then somebody's stealing.
Yeah. Yeah, some schools you can surely say that with. Oh yeah, but my thought is how awkward that it would be when you've got Florida State, Clemson. Much less the North Carolina situation, wanting to get out any way they can do it. And the other thing is, good and well, there's got to be some for lack of a better word, some visionary meetings there where you're talking about the future and so forth. And, how do they deal with some of that? So I'll be interested to hear the hallway talk and the behind the scenes with what happened this week.
Yeah, talking to Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville. Brent, you mentioned Florida earlier. We were talking about Florida for a second. I wanted to go back to that for just one quick second because I was reading this story earlier today on CBS Sports about Cormani McClain, the highly rated corner that was at Colorado last year, 5-star recruit at Colorado last year, entered the transfer portal. CBS Sports has him as the top-ranked uncommitted player in the transfer portal. And I was reading this story, and they had an excerpt from Jacob Rudner, who works for the Florida 247 page, and he said that Florida right now, scholarship-wise, they are full. They have every player under scholarship that they can have, and that Cormani McClain, who's visiting right now, I think started his visit today at Florida, could, if he decided he wanted to go to Florida, could join the team as a walk-on, and they could basically give him enough NIL money that it would not be an issue for him to be a walk-on. What have you been hearing about this Cormani McClain situation, and what would that look like, having a 5-star top-ranked player come in as a walk-on, but giving him enough NIL money that it really wouldn't matter?
Just money everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's called making it work.
That's right.
Frankly, look, you've got a double-edged sword here. You've got a guy who has multiple talent, skills off the chart, but the thing you've got going on here is too, in any recruiting report that you read about him, you hear the words flashy, outspoken, brash, missed classes, missed practice. So, look, you've got to be able to, if he's coming, they certainly, I'm not saying he's going to start with 2.5 strikes against him, but that if you're going to bring a guy like that in, he's going to get with the program and understand that he's not the coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to have to understand that. You can miss classes, but you can't miss practice.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we can understand missing a class or two.
We can make that work.
Yeah, Brent Beard with us on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line talking all things college football. Brent, forever the SEC has really taken a lot of pride out at bowl games after a big win with the uproarious SEC chant. Do you think Texas, if they're standing there with the confetti flying next January, would we collectively be as boastful and as proud of our new SEC brother Texas as we have been all the other teams in the past?
I think that'd be an appreciation if, say, Texas won the conference and or particularly if they won the national championship. But I still think it would be too new for and look, you hear things like I do in just general talk where it's church or the gym or the TV or radio station, and a lot of people are wary of Texas. That their big concern is, well, Texas is going to come in here and not only win, but they're going to brag about it and be arrogant about it and so forth. So,
I mean,
it's going to take some time for that to happen.
Shouldn't it?
You would think they'd hop on board rather quickly. Now, some of that's going to be Texas' attitude about some things, too. And the sooner they can get over that people are putting down hook 'em horns, the better they're going to be, because that's just going to happen. So, but no, that's a legitimately good question as to how quickly they will be accepted into the league.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm curious. You mentioned Mike Norvell will be speaking. What did you say, tomorrow night or later this week?
Yeah, tomorrow night. Yes.
I've been seeing some clips and stuff from Florida State, different things. What is your biggest question mark for this Florida State team going into next year? I know a lot of people here have their eyes on Florida State, not only because of Mike Norvell and his history here with Memphis, but also with Florida State being on Memphis's schedule this year after the year they had last year. Yeah, it's going to be a big one in week 3.
Really?
With the year they had last year, a great season, did not end the way they wanted it to end. But what is the biggest question going into this season? New quarterback, a lot of new on that team in terms of starters. What's your biggest question going into the summer for this Florida State team?
I think, can they continue the momentum that they had? Not to say that they're going undefeated, but I mean, we figured out their schedule the other day, and their biggest challenges are with Clemson and Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
And look, let's say they split those two. Well, they do. They're 11-1. They're a sure bet for the playoff. They're probably 1 or 2 in the conference then. But you mentioned the quarterback situation. I think that's one of the biggest ones that people have. DJ Uiagalelei, can he? No, look, he's got 40 starts. That means a lot. But the problem is there's still times he needs to put some touch on the ball. There's still times that the rereading the defense has got to improve. So, I mean, I get why they got him, and he may be able to plug in quickly enough, and they be able to, of course, they've had to replace Keon Coleman. I think that's going to be huge for them, too. But they've got a lot of talent coming back, and they've got the obviously the Georgia State game early, then they come back to Boston College. We was talking with a source at Florida State the other day. He made a good point. He said they actually have 3 bye weeks. Think about that a minute. I mean, that's two is one thing. Guys having 3 is almost unprecedented.
Yeah, but going halfway around the world for opening day.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
That's true. That makes it difficult. Well, it's going to be fun to see what they can do this year. And like I said, I know a lot of Memphis fans very excited for that Week 3 game against Florida State.
We're getting close to calling the upset, Brent.
Well, yes. Brett has gotten very close to that edge of jumping off and calling it, but he hasn't done it yet.
It's easier in May, Brian.
Yes.
For Brent to make calls like that.
Big talk in May, Brent.
Certainly.
When it gets down to W's and L's in August,
I know.
Might be a little different.
Right.
Well, Brent, always so much fun talking to you. We'll do it again next week.
We did, and Brent and I honored our mothers on this past Sunday, and Brent texted me and made a tremendous point that our grief has turned to joy that they were alive and had the influence they did in our lives and others, and we can feel really wonderful about that until we see them again.
Absolutely.
Sure can. Thank you, Brent.
Absolutely. Thanks, Brent.
Take care, guys.
Thank you, friend. Brent Britt with us every week talking college football. And on DJU, this is going to be a good ACC case study.
Sure.
What if Mike Norvell gets more out of him than Dabo and the Clemson staff could?
Well, and already, Brett, we talked about this.
And if it's there to be gotten, Norvell's going to get it out.
Absolutely. We've seen him do it time and time again, but we were talking about this. I think we did it off air a couple days ago, talking about Clemson and Dabo Swinney, and you look at all the talk, and people are now starting to talk about how, again, another year he doesn't use the transfer portal like we're seeing all these other programs use it, and obviously with Cade Klubnik and kind of shaky last year. This is going to be big. If DJU goes down to Florida State and takes over the ACC and has a great year at Florida State, there's going to be a lot more uncomfortable questions about Dabo.
The spotlight will be on.
Yeah.
And let Klubnik really get worked by Georgia opening day.
Sure, absolutely.
And you got DJU kind of showing out for FSU. It will be highlighted on the whole NIL thing with Dabo. I kind of respect his stance.
Sure.
But It's legal.
Yeah, everyone's doing it. It's legal. Clemson under Dabo was at the top of the game, and now there's an opportunity to stay there, and you have that. I mean, I think everybody nowadays he's being passed, but you have these guys that are in high school that are coming out, that are being recruited. They remember Clemson winning all those national championships and being in all those national championship games, and it being Clemson and Alabama every year fighting it out. And so they're in a great position to go out and get these guys, go out and get transfer guys that remember those great teams. But they're letting it pass them, and soon enough, too many teams are going to pass them, and they're going to kind of be right back to square one if Dabo doesn't just accept where college football is now.
And, this is from someone, Dabo Swinney, that once said when the players start getting paid, I'm out of here.
Well, I still see him over there.
Well, he hadn't left.
No.
Because that money, there's nothing else on earth that he can do and make that kind of money. That's no shot. That's just a fact. And it's almost like some of these recalcitrants on NIL are hoping that we'll go 2 or 3 more steps with it and then realize maybe the mistakes we made, we go back to the old way, and they will look very right. Yeah. That's not happening.
No, it's not. It's either that or it's like he's gotten so far into this of I'm so against NIL and transfer portal that he's like, there's no going back now. I'm like digging my heels in and I'm going to stand my ground because just so many people have been trying to pile on him for this and certainly continue to rake in the money. But man, it's just got to do something. This is going to be a big year for Clemson, I think, in terms of what the future looks like for them.
Yeah. Are they going to be more like the heyday years or are not very good? And if they're not very good, he won't want to stay around very long. Brent Beard, like all our guests, up here on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Sissy's Log Cabin, the official jeweler of the hometown teams, like the Grizzlies and like the Tigers in that new location. It's been opened back in December. At 4542 Poplar, Bill Jones, his great team, they're here to stay. Some blow in and blow out overnight. Not Sissy's Log Cabin. They're a fabric of the community and will have staying power like they have at every location since 1970 across the Mid-South. 9,000 square foot store in Laurelwood with expanded lines for Rolex, Cartier, diamonds, and more. Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry, engagement rings, wedding bands, necklaces, earrings. They offer a selection of diamonds, estate jewelry, and fine gifts. Official jeweler of the Grizzlies and the Tigers, and at FedEx Forum with the floor seat lounge that everybody enjoys. We'll enjoy when we get back to heading to FedEx Forum quite often. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and an extraordinary shopping experience because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Well, let's get to a break. Baseball continues to go and some really fun matchups, some really fun games. I already mentioned the Cardinals last night, down big, but a massive 8-run inning to get the win. We already have a final today, one game currently going. So let's get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about what's going on in Major League Baseball.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Are you looking for a better way to sell farm, construction, or fleet equipment? Purple Wave Auction takes the hassle out of selling heavy equipment. Our experienced auction professionals make the entire process easy and will market each asset not just to our enormous equipment buying community, but specifically to the right bidders who are eager to purchase your specific assets. We'll handle the paperwork and payments so you can get back to running your business. Join the growing list of happy sellers who don't just sell but succeed with Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better? I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
Any day is a good day to sell your home. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Benstorff Realtors, but the absolute best days to sell your home are those days that end with a Y. That's right. Numerous scientific studies, and my friend Kevin, who is also a wine connoisseur, have shown that if you want to sell your home, make sure and use my highly successful strategic marketing program and list on the day ending in a Y. Now think about it. Who would be foolish enough to not trust science and a wine connoisseur? Seriously, changes are happening in the real estate industry, and it's not just that sellers don't know the answers, they don't know the questions. That's why I'm here. If you or someone you know is thinking of selling, I always tell people to talk to 2 to 3 experienced real estate brokers and make sure that I am one of them. Find out why people often say, when you want the job done, you call Shell Done. Call me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. Remember, memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit. Credit for deciding while stuck in traffic to get a bachelor's degree. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. Students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. Plus, get your application fee waived through May 31st. Flexible online and hybrid classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
I've got Jason, the main man marshal, here, and he's ready to start something big at Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike. What's up, Jace?
Randy, I've got 42 MPG on the highway on the all-new 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE for only $249 a month. Or take your pick from the 2024 Tiguan S front-wheel drive or 2024 Taos SE. We Gossett at $279.28 a month.
That's a 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE, $249 a month. Or take your pick from 2024 Tiguan S or 2024 Taos SE, $279.28 a month.
And Randy, you know the deal. Make me an offer because no reasonable offer will be refused.
Ask for Jason, the main man marshal at Gossett Volkswagen, 1875 Covington Pike. Online, GossettVWMemphis.com.
Where we're charging for it and charging less every day.
All 36 monthly, 7,500 miles per year. Taos RMO 51756, MSRP 26063. Tiguan RM 103,910, MSRP 31363. Jetta RMO 48802, MSRP 25506. Crossport RC 236449, MSRP 38981. Includes $3,000 rebate. Cannot be combined with special APR. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes fact file and license. CD for complete details. Offer valid at the end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting to build in the Memphis area right now on 240 East, trying to get up past Poplar. It's pretty busy now also on 240 as you get onto 385 Bill Morris Parkway going outbound. It's heavy coming out of Midtown on 240 South over here at South Parkway. 55 has been in pretty good shape so far in the construction zone so far this afternoon. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services here in Memphis. Make it Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. Check them out at tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our family leisure studios. Got to talk some baseball. We've got 2 games going on right now. 1 game going on right now. 1 game already final. Phillies with a 4-0 win over the Mets. And then going on right now, a part of a doubleheader, Nationals and White Sox. White Sox up 1-0. As they're going to the home half of the 4th inning. So they're in that one right now. They'll play the second one later tonight, I believe, right now. Around 6:30 is when they're trying to...
for Aaron Nola.
How about that? Wow.
Those are rare.
Very rare. And
I scattered 4 hits.
It's impressive. I didn't get to see much of that game earlier today. But yeah, good win for them. I know the Mets really struggling to hit the ball early in that one. So definitely impressive. Nola goes
You were
the full
part
thing.
of Team Interesting Day at WHBQ today, weren't you?
I was.
When I heard John Harden today say that he was having a tough, and he pluralized it, mentals day.
Yes.
I knew it had been a rough day.
Yes, so if I'm a little scattered today, yes, I was part of everything that was happening
A lot
up here
of
this morning.
lightning technical issues.
Look, the storms hit this place all the time, and not very nice.
We've been in the bullseye, haven't we?
Sure have.
The
So
engineering team and all y'all.
They've been great.
Remarkable today.
They have been really, really good. You mentioned the complete game today for Aaron Nola. And I was thinking about this over the weekend. I think it was Saturday. The Braves were like 1 out, 2 outs away from a combined no-hitter.
That was Max Fried, his starter.
It was, and that was Saturday.
And I did not put you on no-hitter alert because I don't count them when they're a team.
Okay, good. That's what I was going to ask you. I don't know if we've ever had this conversation before. I texted one of my Braves fans right when the Mets.
Acknowledge it.
Well, good. We didn't even bring it up on yesterday.
Sure did.
But I texted my buddy and said, I'm glad the Mets got a hit because it wouldn't have been. Everyone would have been calling it a no-hitter. It wouldn't have been a no-hitter because it would have been a combined no-hitter. And he was like, "Yeah, whatever." And he kind of wanted it.
You didn't hear a peep from me Saturday about it.
No, I didn't.
And I was on to it fairly early.
Yeah. See, I wasn't. I got onto it about the 8th inning, maybe. It was pretty late for me. I was really busy on Saturday, but I saw it and I was like, because I use my MLB TV. I know you've got it all on your TV, which seems much more convenient than what I have to do. But I have mine on my laptop. I have an app on my television I can go to. But on my computer, whenever there's a no-hitter going, I don't know when they started. Maybe like after 4 or 5 innings, you'll get a little button
icon.
in the little icon that says no-hitter alert. And so I see the no-hitter alert for the Braves, so I flip the game on, and I'm watching, I go, wait a minute. I think Iglesias was on the mound. So I was like, this guy's not a starter. What do we have, a bullpen day? There's no way they'd let this guy go that long. And so then I realized it was going for a combined no-hitter, and I was like, that's different.
No need to go to nohitters.com with that.
No. Not when it is a combined no-hitter.
Bryant,
like
your American League team, the Mariners, are so fun to watch.
Thank you.
That was a big-time game late last night.
Sure.
And it was late, and it was real partly cloudy for me at that time when I was trying to stay up and watch that game. And it's 2 good pitchers tonight. Walker against
really
Gilbert
good.
Going at each other. Both of these teams, both the Royals and the Mariners, could be October teams. And I don't want anybody in the listening audience to misunderstand. Baseball has been, and I think forever will be, my favorite sport.
Yeah.
It just so happens the last 25 to 30 years, my team, St. Louis Cardinals, was primary in that.
That's right.
It will do nothing to dull my fandom for the rest of the sport with my team in full scuffle.
No.
Nothing.
No, not at all.
I am as into the season as I would be if the Cardinals were 10 in front.
Well, yeah, and we always talk about this. I mean, there's just so many good storylines this year in Major League Baseball, across the country. I think, you just mentioned the Royals, this, young, fun team led by the young Bobby Witt Jr. that just got that massive extension. They're playing really good baseball. Baltimore, another really young team that's playing well. Cleveland, what they're doing this year.
That game last night against Texas.
Yeah. Well, and then some of these teams that I wouldn't consider good yet, that are just fun to watch. Athletics, really fun team to watch right now. The Detroit Tigers. Washington, another team. I'll be honest, the Detroit Tigers, I find myself almost every single day watching their games. I don't know what it is about them. I just like watching that team. The Milwaukee Brewers are a really good team this year, at least starting the season out. I find myself watching them.
Winners of 5 in a row.
So, I mean, there are just so many good storylines that even with the Cardinals struggling, I know we have a lot of Cardinals in this listening area. There's just so many fun storylines, so many good storylines to follow this year that it almost makes it, I don't want to say easy with the Cardinals struggling, but you can kind of fall back on, wow, it's a really good MLB season and there are plenty of things to watch.
It highlights the Cardinals' ineptitude.
Well, yes.
They're down in a group of about 5 to 7 that are close to unwatchable.
Sure, yeah. And but hey, winners of 2 in a row, Brett. Don't look now, but they have 2. How about that?
Well, that Matt Pauley was trying to do that last night at KMOX.
Really?
That you can't start a winning streak until you win 2 in a row.
You know what? Great point by him.
Mathematically correct. Reality sometimes quite different than late night West Coast post game shows.
But another great chance for them tonight against the Angels. Sonny Gray on the mound, who's been really, really good.
Which means I'll get him
season.
Sunday.
You will get him Sunday, and Reed Detmers on the mound for the Angels. So I think another good opportunity for the Cardinals. I just got the notification. Orioles and Blue Jays have been postponed tonight for inclement weather. So we've got one postponement for tonight, and maybe a couple more. Rain, it just feels like
all over the country is about like what
I was about to say
this
last week or so, it just feels like it's been raining everywhere.
I'm going to the Redbirds game tonight, and they got the double header.
That's right, yeah.
The 2 7-inning games. First game's supposed to start at 5:05. So far, no issues. I think it's going to go off on time, and I'll get there for the end of that one and the beginning of the second game. But everybody's from the PGA Championship to everything outdoor in sports to the Preakness Saturday. You keep an eye on the radar because it feels like it's isn't every day 50-50?
Well, I guess so. You walk out, look up, see what the sky looks like. We can't do that to our
meteorologist friends, though.
No. They do a great job, and it's the reason why they get
NextRad 5 Live radar.
Yeah, that's why they get the big block on the news.
The whole block.
That's right. That's right.
Sometime. No, the Cardinals got that win last night, but it's so very flawed, and the questions are out there about them.
Yeah, no, there are, and I think it's a flawed lineup. I think it's a flawed roster, and kind of
flawed era.
It really is, and I think kind of what you said.
And what did we expect? An era completely post Adam Wainwright, Albert Pujols, and Yadier Molina really to look like? Did we really expect the Cardinals just keep it going because they always have? At some point, you have to have this hiccup.
Sure. When I think it was kind of a mix between you had that 1 year where you had the so longs for Yachty and Albert, and Waka stayed another year, but Wainwright, not Waka. Waka's still playing, and I wish they would have went out and picked him up. But yeah, Waino stayed for another year, but that year you had kind of a mix of the old guys. It's kind of their farewell tour, but also you just called up all these guys, and you've got a bunch of young guys coming in. And so I think there was like an excitement of this newness of, oh, look at these young players, Newt Barr and all these other guys. And I'll be honest, Tommy Edmonds won, and we still have yet to see him this year. But a lot of these young guys, I wasn't like super sold on them when they were here in Memphis. Like I was like, they're fine players.
Opposite of sold.
But
dubious.
Do I think we can fill a whole roster with these guys and then be competitive at the next level? Like no. And now we're seeing that play out. And I think you've got I like some of them, but it's just a really flawed team, like you said.
And you saw it play out. 3 pitchers that come to mind. I'm going to use as an example Shelby Miller, Michael Waka, and Jack Flaherty.
Yeah.
Okay, we didn't expect any of those 3 to be Bob Gibson.
No.
Okay, fine. Nobody does. Nobody should. We really didn't expect any of those 3 to even become Chris Carpenter.
Right.
You would have thought one of the 3 might have rivaled being, as a starter, Adam Wainwright.
Sure.
But that's even a high bar.
Sure.
The idea that all 3 as a Cardinal couldn't even get to Matt Morris level.
Yeah.
And you have those guys as linchpin of your staff. That frees you up to do other things with those other pitching spots. And you got nothing out of those 3 spots.
No.
Those 3 players.
No, you absolutely didn't. So it's definitely a new time. But I'll be honest, I like what Mason Wynn's been showing. Very young guy, but I like what he's been showing at short. And we'll see. But it definitely looks like more of a rebuild, maybe hopefully more like a retool. But it does not look good for the Cardinals.
When the Cardinals had the rain out, and I knew that Sonny Gray was going to miss that spot in the rotation and go on Tuesday, so 5 days later, which will be Sunday, when he probably goes again. First thing I thought, this is how bad it is. Well, maybe the Red Sox won't sweep. I can be there at least for a win Sunday.
It's kind of how it's starting to feel with a lot of these series. But hey, 2 games down, a couple more to go. Then we're rolling, Brett.
I'm going on my road trip to St. Louis this weekend. Is your family road trip ready for the summer? All-Star Chevy right there in Olive Branch. They'll get you ready with a new Silverado, new Suburbans, new Tahoes. Get up to 30 miles per gallon with your new All-Star Chevy Equinox or Trailblazer. Financing down to 1.9, no payments for a full 90 days of summer. The rest of the summer, you don't have to worry about that payment. All-Star Chevy with a great deal on a new 24 Blazer EV. Get charged up for this 36-month lease on the Blazer EV at just $369 a month, only $2,500 down, and the usual tax, title, and license. For details, ask any sales consultant at All-Star. First exit on Highway 78 after you cross the state line into Mississippi at Kraft Goodman Road. You're there. You can go there and see a ton of Silverados at All-Star. Discounts up to $10,500 and 1.9 financing on all those. College students, grads, military, teachers, healthcare workers, first responders, all with an extra $500 bonus. You want something pre-owned? They have it. All the Jeeps and trucks and even a Corvette. As we commemorate Memorial Day as it's coming up, and all our friends at All-Star want me to remind everyone to remember all who have made that ultimate sacrifice serving our great country and to remember their families. Together, let's drive to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Well, let's grab a quick break. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Memphis Public Links has so much going on right now. Audubon is right around the fairway. Wait until you see when this thing is a finished product. Fox Meadows is in great shape. The Links at Pine Hill is now a masterpiece of a place to play, as are really all the other Memphis public golf courses. Galloway is playing like a championship course. They just finished the 75th year of the OPO, and Overton Park is now talked about, and that layout all across the state. And by the way, folks, it's so easy to make a tee time. The hard part is getting your buddies to pick their time. You go online to memphispubliclinks.com, select your course, then grab your tee time. Simple, easy, and incredibly convenient. Also, on the website is a schedule of upcoming events. There you'll find something that will interest you. Again, if you want to book a tee time or find out more about tournaments or other events at any of the great Memphis public golf courses, go online to memphispubliclinks.com.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There are many real estate companies out there, but then there's Banyan Tree Realtors on the Collierville Town Square. There are hands-on, family-owned boutique real estate companies whose agents have been offering exceptional attention to their clients for over 40 years. In an ever-changing world, Banyan Tree continues to maintain a small-town personal charm while providing a worldwide connection through its internet marketing presence. Personal service will never go out of style at Banyan Tree Realtors. Their agents are people you can trust, offering service you deserve. From residential homes to commercial properties, farmland, land lots, and historical houses, Banyan Tree has the expertise you can rely on. So if you're downsizing, upsizing, moving in, or moving on, give Banyan Tree Realtors a call today. Craig Smith and Mary Jean Smith and their agents are ready to serve you. Call today at 901-620-8920 or 901-359-2520.
It's time to get to Gossett Kia on the Pike so Bobby J can put you in your new Kia today. Want summer fun and 41 MPG? We Gossett with 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win? $249 a month. Get extra room and extra fun with 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $357 a month. Both $39.99 due at signing. All 24-month lease plus 0% APR for 48 months. Available on the all-new Kia EV9. And peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So hurry to Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Include all rebates and incentives. Price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695, $650 acquisition fee, EV6 P5610964, MSRP $50,200, Telluride RG 510,849, MSRP $38,305, Forte LXS RE 78169, MSRP $21,820. Plus finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Get 5 quarts of O'Reilly Full Synthetic Motor Oil and a MicroGuard oil filter for $31.99 at O'Reilly Auto Parts. In-store only. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, please do not get mad at me. I'm throwing a hockey big number out to everybody.
Wait a second. Is that allowed? Leon, would we allow hockey as big number of the day?
That's a good question.
Where's
Leon,
Johnny?
what's the final verdict? Are we allowing a hockey
yeah.
big number?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Johnny would not have allowed. So I already like Leon
We
better
could be
than
near
I like Johnny.
some closeouts tonight in hockey.
It certainly could be. You got Boston and Florida. Right now, Florida up 3-1. And then Vancouver, Edmonton. Right now, Vancouver a 2-1 lead.
My Canucks.
In that one, your Canucks and my Oilers. So.
Do they have a fancy song?
We could probably find one. Hockey.
I want a good one, like "Go Cubs Go."
Sure. Yeah, I don't know.
Fly Eagles Fly.
If they do, I've never heard it.
Yeah.
But who knows? My big number today is the number 31. The Edmonton Oilers have scored 31 power play goals in their last 20 playoff games, dating back to last postseason. That's the most power play goals by any NHL team over a span of 20 playoff games since the Minnesota North Stars had 31 from April 8th to May 23rd, 1991. Anytime I can get a North Stars reference in there, I got to throw it out there.
You know who they became, don't you?
They became the Dallas Stars.
That's it.
So I love me a good North Stars reference. I had to throw that one out.
Green and white.
That's right, yeah. So I love that. And maybe Edmonton can continue that power play success tonight and maybe even this series 2-2.
The late, great Paul Hartledge, who forever was voice of University of Memphis Tigers football and basketball, he was from up there, and that was his team.
Really?
The Minnesota North Stars. And he was a big fan. My big number is 33. This week at Valhalla at the PGA Championship, there will be 33 major champions in the field of 156. We mentioned it yesterday with Doug Bell. This is golf's best field of the year. It will be cut down to 70 in ties for the weekend, but 33 players in the field, and that includes 1991 champ John Daly and 2003 champ Sean McKeel.
How about that?
Both still in.
Yeah, so that will be fun. Seeing those guys in there. And
I showed you a picture
you did.
Of JD looking like a mall Santa Claus. He really does. That
classic
beard is something. With a picture with Tiger and John Daly winner in 91. Tiger got his first PGA championship in 99 in Chicago. That was the duel with Sergio Garcia.
Oh, yeah.
The Sergio leg kick. But life really comes at you fast to see John Daly. Tiger Woods is, frankly, ceremonial golfers.
Certainly, absolutely.
I mean, JD definitely is.
Sure, and I think we're pretty much that point with Tiger. Now, we did talk last week about the reports that he shot a 62, and look out, these practice rounds that he's having at Valhalla. So we'll see. I hope he
I hope both John and Tiger can complete 36 holes.
Well, that might be the biggest bet of the weekend is yes or no. Will both be able to finish the weekend?
I told you the story today before the show. In 1991, I was not in radio then, and I was meeting a friend at lunch over here at Regalia, where Ruth's Chris is now. It was a place called the Cooker.
Okay.
And really good food, really popular, and real crowded at lunch. And I got there a little early, and before I went to a table, and this was Thursday, first round of the PGA. This was in August. Had the TVs on the PGA, and I looked up there and saw John Daly in the lead, like 8 under after the first day. 7 or 8 under, whatever he shot the first day. I couldn't believe it. I mean, nobody had heard of him. Nobody. And he led wire to wire that week and became the overnight phenomenon. Truly, Elvis of golf.
Sure.
I mean,
that's awesome.
Golf-wise speaking. Golf-wise.
Right.
Didn't have 2 quarters to rub together. And then overnight, all the money and all the fame. And it cut both ways, good and bad, that you could think of.
And now, son at Arkansas has a Hooters NIL deal. How about that?
Of course they do.
Of course he does. That is Brad, I've told you before, I know his son, and I know his stepson really well, went to school with him. Right when the day I saw that Little John, what we all called him growing up, that Little John got a Hooters NIL deal, I texted both my parents. I said, we could have predicted this years ago.
At 5.
Yes, we could have predicted this. So that was a fun story. But that will be fun to watch this weekend. A lot of those guys, especially those two, and see what they can do this weekend.
And for Sean McKeel, the proud champ of 2003 at Oak Hill, and all that he stands for, and just a really fine person.
Absolutely. So I'm ready. Hopefully, it feels like every time we bring up this weekend's golf tournament, we kind of have to have our fingers crossed and get down and pray for good weather. But
weather forecast Friday
doesn't look good. Does not look
You're
good
gonna
at
need a
all.
boat.
Oh, I hate that. Well, let's go ahead and end this hour. And when we come back, a shortened hour, only a 30-minute hour. Again, we're out early for Ole Miss baseball. They're taking on Southern Miss tonight for their final midweek game of the regular season. But when we come back to start our 5 o'clock hour, we're talking NFL with Bo Marchant.
Sometimes I wish I had a gun.
Well, I'm armed, but before I bought one, I still went to Top Gun Academy to learn to protect myself without a gun.
How is that possible?
Top Gun's personal protection training. It's perfect if you want to protect yourself without firearms.
I don't know.
And it's perfect if you feel the need to carry a gun for self-defense, because the last thing you really want to do is shoot.
That is scary.
Not at Top Gun. It's very comfortable, and you learn to load, handle, and shoot a handgun safely. Protect yourself. Go to Top Gun Academy. They're at 2770 Witten Road.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. A legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
Get ready, because the Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Summer Sales Event is on, and now is the best time to buy. You want 43 MPG Highway? We Gossett in 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, $18,960 or $279 a month. 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. We Gossett, $27,350 or $399 per month. And your summer adventure starts with 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SE. We Gossett, $29,865 or $449 a month. Plus, every Gossett Mitsubishi comes with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, online 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Dodge RHFO 9083, MSRP 19460. Sport RUO 110 764, MSRP 28070. Outlander RZO 53896, MSRP 30895. PF 695, acquisition fee 595, 15 cents excess mileage, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid to end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, save $8 on a pair of Bosch Icon wiper blades in-store only. We'll even install them for free at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. We got this right over to the side as traffic builds out of Midtown on 240 southbound at South Parkway. Again, it's not blocking traffic, but there is some rubbernecking delays now as you travel between Lamar and South Parkway on 240 going southbound. It's a crash. One car was turned around there on 240 east at Mount Moriah just a few minutes ago. It's still slow over here on 240 east trying to get past Poplar. Hey, 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in the Memphis area. Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. National Football League talk every Tuesday with Bo Marchant, covering the NFL Draft at collegetopro.com and the NFL Draft Bible, covering the Steelers for Sports Illustrated, living and running in Eastern Ohio, and on Twitter X at Bo Marchant. Here's Bo with Bryant and Brett.
Bo Marchant joins us now on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line to talk the NFL, and plenty to get to when it comes to the NFL. We'll have the full rollout of the schedule from the NFL tomorrow, but we've already gotten a lot of leaks about when some of these games will take place. I know a lot of people are talking about Baltimore and Kansas City. That'll start the season Thursday, September 5th on NBC. But, Bo, I'm really more worried about the Dallas Cowboys' first game of the season against the Cleveland Browns, and more importantly, It is set to be, I don't want to get ahead of myself because you never know when it comes to TB12, but it is set to be Tom Brady's first game in the booth with Fox. What do you make of this? Do you think that will actually be Tom Brady's first game in the booth?
I do. I do think it'll be his first game in the booth. I know there's been some rumblings, but I thought for sure if there was an opportunity last year, he would have returned to the field. And I think there was ample opportunity the way the quarterback play was, especially you think about New York and a high caliber team that won 7 games without Aaron Rodgers, what they might have been able to do in the AFC East AFC East with Rodgers. So I think Brady's going to stay put. I think the people in Cleveland, up there on the lake, if you will, they'll have the pleasure of knowing that while they're in the stands, one of the greatest players we've ever seen in all of sport will be in the booth.
And we know where you will be on Christmas Day, as all signs indicate that the Steelers will host the champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, on Christmas Day at Acrisure.
Yeah, I know. I told you guys months ago that's the thing I dreaded most was seeing if there would be a game in Pittsburgh on Christmas. It's against everything that it's just I want to be with family. I'm not going to lie, but I'll be there to see Patrick Mahomes and company take on, I assume, if everything goes out planned for the Steelers, Russell Wilson and company, 2 former AFC foes, West foes, and Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes. But nonetheless, a big game, and at that particular time of year, there should be, if both teams play well, a lot of playoff implications.
And we know opening weekend it will be a return to the Bay Area for Aaron Rodgers, back to the Bay Area where he played college football for the Cal Bears and where he grew up. And I don't mean this nasty. I mean it sincerely. I hope he lasts more than one pass.
Yeah, that's a fun one. You get Aaron Rodgers back. Robert Saleh, he was the OC or defensive coordinator there, I think, between 2017 and 2020. So, he returns. I don't know if they've been back there since he's been hired by the New York Jets. But, you got Robert Saleh back. You got Aaron Rodgers heading back out west. And his return, probably one of the most anticipated returns we've had in a player in a while. At least on the top of my mind, you're talking about 4 MVPs and the caliber of play, the excitement that surrounded him and the Jets last season, and all comes to, a scratching halt after that Achilles goes on the first series. So I'm excited for and even the Thursday night game. I mean, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, AFC Championship game. It'll give us if the Ravens lose, there'll be a whole year of talk of Lamar Jackson can't beat good opponents and, blah, blah, blah. If they win, he'll be, in the running for another MVP award, maybe his third. But I'm excited. What we've seen so far is exciting, and as we know, there'll be other games. And the best part about the schedule, they're fun to talk about now, but as the season progresses, just like last year, if we would have said, hey, the Jets are playing Monday night against the Chiefs in Week 6, we would all had that penciled down as the game. That's the marquee matchup. But injuries, different things, hamper expectations and change what games might become important and might not be important. Just like last year at the Houston Texans, nobody would have said, "Hey, I'm excited to see the Texans, play this Sunday." But now they look like a high flying club, and another team like the Texans will emerge this year. Who it's going to be, I do not know, but it just makes all the games. We highlight the stars because it's important. Like Chiefs Ravens, you got four MVPs and 3 Super Bowl rings in that game at quarterback. So obviously you want to watch that game, but down the stretch, there's going to be a great game, throughout the year that we're not talking about, but I'm sure we'll talk about it, after it concludes on Tuesday here.
Yeah, absolutely. But we were talking about it off air, and we've obviously talked about it the last couple of days. But Johnny, our producer, has gone up to Detroit. He'll be covering the Lions, and their starting quarterback just got a big-time extension. It was announced a 4-year, $212 million extension for Jared Goff.
Almost the same deal Johnny got to go to Detroit.
That's right. That's right. Both very fortunate, I guess. What did you make of this deal for Jared Goff, and what does it mean for him and the Lions moving forward?
Well, just before we get to that, if Johnny was getting the same money as Jared Goff, you guys wouldn't be in the studio right now. There'd be empty airlines
you got that right.
Sports 56 right now. No, it's a great deal. I'm glad for Jared Goff. He's played so well there. He's part of this comeback scenario, this dream scenario for the city of Detroit with the Lions. And the way he was, it wasn't the way that he was sent away from Los Angeles, that he was the culprit of, their Super Bowl loss, and, he had to take the brunt of it. And then to have Matthew Stafford win it the following year. I mean, if you're a player, it's the worst scenario. It's the worst thing you can think of. It's I guess it's kind of like your girlfriend breaking up with you and then she's dating the prom king the next week. I mean,
he wins the Powerball.
Yeah, wins the Powerball. It's just the last thing you want to see. And this is nothing against Stafford at all. I mean, none but love towards him too. But for Goff, you got to root for him as an underdog. That the Lions, their sad history, and then the way he was kind of exited and traded away from the Rams. If you got to pick one guy, at least in my mind, that I could see, wow, I would love to see this guy hoist that Lombardi, it'd be Jared Goff. Good kid, number one pick, good quarterback, and he's had success there. The Lions are doing a great job, as we know, and that's a very high-powered offense via the arm of Jared Goff, which, in turn, he gets the nice payday.
I'm for the Lions, and it was right there for the taking last year, and I thought that they would have been very competitive in the Super Bowl, because we remember opening night last year for the Lions against Kansas City, and I want it to be a good story for Johnny to cover, and winning always makes it a better story. You were around the Steelers all weekend, and we talked earlier today, Bo. You can really feel it building, can't you? Oh yeah, we spoke earlier, and it's. When you get these practices, rookie camps, I just got the email today, next week is OTAs, and you just realize that we're in it. And, August 1st when the Hall of Fame between the Barons and Texas goes down, that's just another, building block towards the season. But the foundation is being laid right now. The draft, you could say, the free agency was digging the hole to the house. They put the cement block up, the basement's in. And now they're going to start adding floors, and be sooner you're going to be living in the place by the time September rolls around. So, it's fun. It's fun seeing the guys, new faces. It's 43 guys down at Steelers camp, and besides the rookies, I mean, how many of those other guys, maybe 2, 3, have a shot at making the roster? So it's such a hard process. My heart goes out to these guys because you're so close. I mean, you are so close. You're in the film rooms. You're going to play preseason football. You're being coached by Mike Tomlin. You're catching passes by, just say, Patrick Mahomes. And at the end of the day, cut downs come, and that could be the end. And this is a time of rebirth for everybody, but it's also a time where this is the final opportunity for a lot of these young men.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what is kind of around the NFL? What is the one or two, maybe couple storylines that you're looking forward to for OTAs for mini camps coming up?
Well, in Pittsburgh, I think in Pittsburgh there's going to be a lot of desire about Justin Fields just because of, he was a former number one pick, and, things didn't go the right way in Chicago. So I think that'll be one of the stories in Pittsburgh at least. And then Najee Harris. They didn't pick up the fifth-year option. And just to kind of catch where his mind is going to go when he has to kind of, start talking with the media. I doubt he's going to give any, smoldering, quote. But who knows? Najee's a proud individual, and maybe he'll say what's on his mind. But I think those would be the two stories: the quarterback competition, Russell, Justin Fields. I shouldn't say a competition, but I think that's Russell's job. But just the underlying excitement that I think a lot of the fan base has with Justin Fields there, and then I think Najee, and then the rest will come into play. O-line, the first picks in the last two drafts, Broderick Jones, and then Troy Fatunanu. First two picks the last two seasons, offensive line, and then they go O-line again in the second round this year with Zach Fraser, the center. So a lot of O-line talk will probably be another topic of discussion in the Steel City.
I think a league storyline is, let's see the start the Eagles get off to. If they got off to that scuffling 1-3, 1-4 start, would they make a change at coaching in season? We know the Cowboys will.
The Cowboys will. If Sirianni starts out 1-4, and they're playing, that might call for maybe a change of heads. I think they stick with them. I guess what it is I can't imagine them starting out 1-4. I don't know what the culprit was that led them to such a disastrous end of the season, but it did come to fruition. They did play lousy, and they were lucky to even make the postseason the way that they kind of fell apart toward that final stretch. So I can't imagine them falling that part, but he will be under scrutiny. If they're even mediocre, Brett, I think there's a real opportunity that, he could be on the hot seat. But if we're talking overall, I think maybe not OTAs, but I still think Brandon Ayuk and T. Higgins, those are prominent names, the receivers. Who knows if a deal comes down the pike, maybe a big-time receiver gets hurt, contract thing, the team might try to acquire them. And I think that is something, if somehow the 49ers or the Bengals somehow aren't competitive this season, I think that's another topic we'll be talking to throughout the trade deadline. Well, they move on from these guys to try to, pick up some draft ammunition or another player, rather than getting nothing back when these guys, hit the market. But the OTA lines, I think that's the Steelers. But topics of the season, I think it's the possibilities of those trades of those wide receivers and the comeback of Rodgers. That has to be one of the biggest.
A fun one for me, and I hate it for him because I really like him. Fell in love, as Baker Mayfield fell in love with him, watching him in a Red River shootout in 2016 in Texas and Oklahoma. And then the next year, he was fantastic at a Rose Bowl game I saw between Georgia and Oklahoma. But for him, it's this every year. Go do it again. Mm-hmm. Prove it. Show it again.
Yeah, well,
it's been his whole football life.
That's right.
Yeah, he's fallen into that. It's a little bit of his own.
It is.
He plays well, and then he does. He regresses. I mean, the way he played in Carolina cost whatchamacallit his job. Matt, can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he has to play better. Matt Rule, and he was lousy in Carolina. So it's one of those things, and he goes, he gets he plays a couple games with the Rams, he looks really well, and then he gets that excitement and. He played great last season. I will not. You, Brett, me and you were both Baker Mayfield guys. Mm-hmm. So we have no animosity towards Baker Mayfield. We have his back time and time again. But the one thing we can't say is he plays great. But as you said, you have to back it up. You have to kind of stack those seasons.
Then the Johnny Manziel comes out of it.
Yeah, yes, and that's it. You all these quarterbacks. It's not so much you have. You got to be great, but you just can't be bad. And if you're bad, you got to really separate yourself from that habit for a long time to kind of get back in the good graces of these teams. And the Buccaneers went back to the drawing board with Mayfield. They brought him back and they re-signed him, and they feel comfortable with him as they should be. He played fantastic, but now the pressure's on. They made the playoffs. I think everybody in the NFC South has gotten a little bit better. The Falcons got Kirk Cousins. The Saints got better. Carolina, who knows how much better they will be. I'm not going to say they're going to win the division, but they might be a little bit more competitive in a tough division. So, will the Buccaneers have that opportunity to, be division champs? And those are all the scenarios that are all going to fall on Baker Mayfield's shoulders once the season rolls around. Even if he plays well, it's always the quarterback. If the wins, losses don't add up in the correct way, they usually take the brunt of it.
All right, I got way too far out there with Bryce Young as Rookie of the Year last year. Okay, I missed bad. But I thought he had a good year with very little help, no protection, and it was a win of a year for him not to be sitting at a surgeon's office.
Yeah, you're a smart football guy, Brett. That you're exactly right. If anyone watched what was going on in Carolina, the disaster that was the Carolina Panthers of 2023, and Bryce Young,
run for your lives.
For him running for his life with that frame and avoiding injury and still staying positive, staying to the course, and that's what made him the number one pick. It was the mentality and the mindset and the adversity that he dealt with. And probably can't take it for a few more years if it goes that way. He'll probably, break his spirit and then, be jettisoned off because they'll replace him with somebody. But they went out. Carolina did a nice job this offseason. I thought they did a nice job, at least in the draft, of trying to acquire talent to help the offense. So, those guys got to work out, but at least they're doing their due diligence and going in that direction. So, who knows? And that's the fun part. The Texans last year, we see it every season, every year, a team that goes from last to first, and you think we would become accustomed to never thinking it could happen, but we never ever think that it can. It's going to happen this year. It could be the Panthers, and that's that division, the NFC South. I don't think anyone's thinking about any team out of that division where, even if they win a playoff game, it's going to be a wild card game and it's going to be one and done. Or it's not going to be a very competitive division. So who knows? Maybe they strike it rich in Carolina. Bryce Young and that offense come alive, and and they jump leaps and bounds, and now we're talking about Young and Stroud as the next generation of young guys that are going to be great.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting, and I mean, plenty of stuff, NFL things to get to, and I wish we could talk the whole show about the NFL with you, Bo, but we got to get out of here early for Ole Miss baseball, so we got to let you go, Bo. As always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do it again next week.
Hey, yes, sir, and God bless you, Johnny. Enjoy Detroit, and you guys stay safe as well.
Thanks, Bo.
Good stuff, Bo. Good man. Bo Marchant with us every week talking the NFL, and it only builds, like he said. And we will get to OTAs, and then we'll have a little bit of a lull, and then camp will open. Hall of Fame game August 1st. Sounds good,
crazy.
doesn't it?
That sounds real good. Well, I always love seeing all the videos and the reporting and stuff from rookie minicamp. It really is like, man, it's right around the corner. Kind of like what we were talking about earlier with scheduling news
Watching
for college
J.J.
football.
McCarthy bouncing around with Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. And I don't know if you saw this. Sean Payton yesterday, I believe it was, talking very highly about a lot of guys on their team and talked about I'm blanking on his name.
But I think some of it with Sean Payton is deflection. He's just so glad Russell Wilson's gone.
Well, I mean, you definitely got to think that, but it's going to be interesting what this year looks like in Denver and what they can have next year.
In our area, we are so fortunate to have so many Jason's Deli locations. Wherever you are in our area, you're close by one at Ridgeway Road, right here across from MUS, where I was there at lunchtime today. Poplar and Highland over by the U of M, down in Olive Branch, out in Cordova. We've got them close to us, over 200 Memphis area associates working so hard for every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can get that delivered and catered for your event, bringing more to the table. It's a family thing at Jason's Deli. Low delivery fees. Call your local deli for all the details. Same day and last minute orders welcomed. When you feel like you don't have your event planned out just right, step aside, let them step in. It's really where they excel among many things. All foods free from dyes, artificial trans fats, and flavors. It's healthy. First franchise in the nation to be trans fat free, and it's all about choice at every one of these Jason's Deli. Regardless, if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, or if you'd like to invent your own via the Build Your Own selection, you'll be delighted at Jason's Deli. Wholesome food forever. It's a family thing. Dining in, to-go, delivery, all the great meals, and that salad bar in every location for you to prepare it however you would like. Over 30 items to choose from, plenty of organic food to choose from, then off the menu. The chicken Caesar salad, the taco salad, the Big Chef salad, catering anytime, anywhere, 5 or 5,000, and complimentary free ice cream at Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
We were talking about Sean Payton there, and I couldn't remember exactly what he said yesterday, but he was talking about Blake Watson from Memphis and said, I don't want to compare him to Alvin Kamara when he was at New Orleans. And then he went on to pretty much compare Blake Watson to Alvin Kamara, talking about kind of what he does as a pass catcher, but then how he can really affect the game as a running back as well. So that was cool to see, just speaking of them. But what I learned today, Doug Gottlieb, who hosts a radio show, a daily radio show for Fox Sports Radio, he has accepted the head coaching job at UW Green Bay. I do too. He interviewed for this job last year, but instead
I don't
they
know
hired
him at all, but but I wish him well.
I don't either. I think he does a good show. I think he's really good. He covers basketball really, really well, I think. But he interviewed for this job last year. Instead, Green Bay went on to hire Sundance Wicks. He had a great year at Green Bay last year. 18-14, 13-7 in conference, finished third in conference, got named Horizon League Coach of the Year. And now, after 1 year there, he took the Wyoming job where he was an assistant for 2 or 3 years before taking the Green Bay job. So now Gottlieb, it was announced this morning that he would take that job and be the head coach. He says that he's still going to continue to do his radio show. I'm curious to see how long that lasts because I do not expect him, once we get into the real nitty-gritty of being a Division I head coach, I doubt he's going to want to continue to juggle a daily radio show while being head coach for a Division I program.
I wish him well. We've talked about it before, Brian, on the air and off, and you and Lee Aldwin and I talked about it today. Look, any Google search you can find something very unflattering that happened to Doug Gottlieb that he self-inflicted. He did to himself. He stole a teammate's credit card when he was at Notre Dame. That's not a good practice. It's really bad. It was over 30 years ago. And I've said it before about him. Now, he leads with his chin, and when you do, you can get your ears boxed pretty good. But every time he says something, do we have to be reminded that at some point, aren't you paid up? Don't we forgive? I wish a lot of those people that always bring it up to him, I just hope for their sake they're as perfect and pious as they sound when they bring up the credit card stuff.
Yeah, you would hope.
That suffices what I learned today.
I like that. I love it. What I could have done without, it's got to be, and maybe, Brett, we've talked about it before, maybe it might not be. It could be what I learned today or my big number of the day. It was the performance today by David Jones. He did not impress today in his first scrimmage at the NBA Combine. Here was his stat line: 6 points, 1 for 4 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3, and 6 rebounds for him as well, but also 4 turnovers. That was kind of the story of the day for him, was the turnovers.
Come on home, David.
And we know that at Memphis he really struggled with turnovers, but you're right. That might turn out to be a good thing. Kevin Sweeney, I saw a tweet from him.
Number 8's waiting.
Oh, absolutely. I saw a tweet from Kevin earlier today, our friend Kevin Sweeney. He said a lot of players have helped themselves by playing combine scrimmages today. David Jones is not one of those players. But again, like you said, I'm sure every Memphis fan is okay hearing that because that is even more positive news that he could return here.
We know what he can do. I could have done without this. The Bears have already handed, I think they should, the opening day job to Caleb Williams. 2 picks later was Drake May. The Patriots aren't handing him anything. In fact, head coach Mayo has already said he's got a lot of work to do. And he probably does, but is the spread that big from 1 to 3 of guaranteed starting opening day to a lot of work?
Well, that's a really good point by you. It really is. Where are you being tonight?
AutoZone Park to watch the Redbirds, but I'll keep an eye on all things Madison Square Garden. Knicks are wobbly. It's almost like one of those championship fights for them there tonight.
Man, it really is. I mean, beam me to either of these games tonight. I think both are going to be awesome. 2-2 in both of them. Lee Aldwin was asking me earlier, what was my pick for the games? Who did I have winning both these games? And I said, honestly, Lee Aldwin, I don't know. I mean, both these games could go either way. I think all 4 of these teams have shown that they are really good and can beat each other on any given day, so it'll be fun to watch tonight.
Tonight we'll be watching live from the PGA Championship in Louisville. In Louisville, you got Churchill Downs, Freedom Hall, and now I think Valhalla taking its spot in Louisville sports lore. Can a team win at home between Denver and Minnesota? Denver better. And the Panthers can close it out in the hockey tonight against Boston. 2 great baseball matchups tonight. Yankees at Minnesota and Kansas City at Seattle.
Yeah, it's going to be a really, really fun night of action. Baseball, basketball, a little bit of everything tonight. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy your night. Coming up next, Ole Miss baseball as they're playing their final midweek game of the season against Southern Miss. That's next.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends.